Okay, so here's some news slash rumors that's basically been going on about the PlayStation 5 in relation to its features and what may be on the PlayStation 5 versus what might not be on the PlayStation 5. A lot of people have been speculating that the PlayStation 5 will not be able to run games in 4K resolution. Now, the thing about this whole thing is that it has been mentioned by Sony that you'd be able to play PlayStation 5 on 4K TVs, and that basically you'll be able to play games on on basically on high resolution displays because it has 8K output. And also, another big feature with the PlayStation 5 is ray tracing and haptic feedback and all that. All that stuff has been heavily emphasized by Sony in terms of the PlayStation 5 and what it's capable of. But the thing is, there's been some comments made by gaming analysts that suggest that Sony's PlayStation 5 would not be up to the task in terms of living up to the expectation of gamers who hope for 4K gameplay. There was an analyst by the name of Jeff Grubb who described the smart shift technology that PlayStation 5 uses worrisome. It could create obstacles for video game developers, which could affect the overall quality of the games on their console. And he said that basically the PlayStation 5 is significantly different than the last generation consoles, considering the fact that it operates in a different way, because the PlayStation 5 moves power between the CPU and the GPU, and that's something that developers were never really used to in the past in relation to developing video games for different consoles of past generations. Now, another gaming analyst by the name of Dusk Golem mentioned how he knew developers who had issues producing games for the PlayStation 5 as well. And if that is the case, it's going to be interesting to see how well the PlayStation 5 does in terms of sales and whether or not there's going to be any type of outline in terms of how developers are going to make games for the PlayStation 5, whether or not there's going to be any special instructions concerning the fact that, their past game systems never had a system that, moved, between the CPU and GPU in terms of power. So it'll be interesting to see, whether or not that will be a huge issue for upcoming gaming developers. But as far as 4K resolution is concerned, that's something that has not been fully confirmed, and that's kind of an issue considering the fact that I'm pretty certain that the Xbox Series X will be able to run games in 4K, and I think the Xbox One did. And I think there's been a lot of rumors as to whether or not PlayStation 5 can have games that can, or it'll be able to run games in 4K. But I don't know. That's basically just speculation. I'm not quite sure. I don't think 4K gameplay was one of the few features that Sony emphasized when they unveiled the PlayStation 5 not too long ago. But it has been confirmed that the PlayStation 5 would support both 4K and 8K graphics, and I think that's something that is interesting, but doesn't mean that it supports 4K or 8K gameplay. So I mean, we'll just have to wait and see, whether or not Sony will reveal more information about the PlayStation 5 as we get closer to the fourth quarter of 2020. And as far as the release date for the PlayStation 5 is concerned, it's supposed to take place sometime. I know it's supposed to take some place sometime before Christmas, quite possibly November, because whenever Sony releases a new game console, it's normally around November. It's right before Christmas time. So if that's the case, it'll be interesting to see how popular and how successful the PlayStation 5 will become following its upcoming release later this year.